The invention, I would call it, of creating clothes in foreign factories. Basically, every U.S. company, fashion company, sent all of their manufacturing overseas. They clothes became like almost, if you have slave labor, if people are getting paid nothing to produce things in a giant factory, your cost of labor, which is a big portion of clothes making, if that goes to nothing, you've now like opened up a whole Pandora's box of profits. Okay, if your labor costs nothing, and then now your fabric costs, which using like really great natural fabrics, it costs a little extra because obviously it's not produced out of thin air. But once they found polyester and nylon, they were able to create unlimited fabric out of plastic, literal plastic. Polyester and nylon is plastic made from oil. They were able to...
Wait, you say made from oil?
Yeah, okay. It's crazy that...
Because I had no clue.
Yeah, a lot of people still don't understand that when you see polyester and nylon on your tag, which is like the majority of clothes these days, the same oil they're pumping out to put into your car, to fuel these cargo ships, to do everything else, the same oil that's being turned into plastic, the same oil that's being used in cosmetic products, the same oil that's basically devouring your lives, and that everybody knows is incredibly harmful.
That's crazy.
But that's incredibly harmful is the same oil that they turn into plastic pellets and then turn into fabric. And it's chemically processed to turn it into fabric. So you're wearing not just plastic, but the worst plastic you could wear when you're wearing polyester nylon. Anyway, so they figured out how to turn plastic into fabric. And since there's an abundance of oil and it costs nothing, they basically had free material to make clothing out of. So material that costs nothing and what's it called? And fabric. So material that costs nothing, fabric that costs nothing, and labor that costs nothing. And also to ship it over to America, you use a giant cargo ship, flood it with a bunch of stuff. Costs nothing to ship over here. So you're basically producing free clothes. So somebody found the unlimited, I call it the unlimited money printer glitch, which is basically produce clothes that cost nothing. And again, the only way you can produce clothes that cost nothing is if they're the worst of the worst of the... It's dirt. Dirt is abundance on Earth. It's everywhere. You can't get rid of it. Those clothes are comparable to dirt. Like, it costs nothing. You go scoop out dirt, it's free. Anyway, yeah, they figured out the unlimited money glitch with these clothes.
So was there a time when the material mattered?
Yeah, I mean...
when did this start changing? Like, is it recent?
Yeah, so for thousands of years, humans only wore wool, linen, cotton, and cotton was actually a luxury material. It wasn't until the invention of the cotton gin in the late 1800s that we figured out how to mass produce cotton. So cotton wasn't even a material that was frequently used in history, but it was really wool and linen and silk also. Those are basically the only materials that humans used throughout history, and obviously leather from animals and stuff. But
and I'm guessing designers cared about the material back then.
Of course. Well, you can only get good material. Like, so who created polyester now? I don't know the exact. I think it was in the 40s, maybe 50s or something, around that time. It was created by the DuPont company, the worst company, the producer of all your wonderful chemicals that are hurting the whole planet. The DuPont company created polyester and nylon fabric. They figured out how to turn plastic into fabric so they can, like, the only reason, all right, check this out. The only reason you would turn plastic into fabric is because you want to find a way to make as much money as you possibly can. Okay, say you start a business or a company, you're like, how do I make, and especially fashion, People start fashion companies these days for the sole purpose of making money. So you say, and for status, they do it for status too, status and money. But okay, you say to yourself, how do I make as much money as humanly possible through fashion, if fashion's the medium? How would I do it? And you think plastic. Okay, plastic is the cheapest, most abundant thing right now being produced. What if I can turn plastic into clothing? Plastic costs nothing. What if I could turn it into clothing? Then the clothing costs nothing, and then I use overseas labor. Then that costs nothing. Okay, that sounds pretty good. We can make unlimited money like that. So your only motivation to turn plastic into clothing is how can I make as much money? And anybody that their sole purpose, motivating factor in life is how can I make as much money as possible with no thought of any consequences of their actions. It's pure greed. It's people operating on the level of pure greed, which in any religious term, moral term, or even just human to human, operating on the level of greed is the worst way a human being can operate. It's the most negative.
Yeah.
It's actually sickly. Like, and these people are operating on that level. Like if somebody's doing business for the sole purpose of how they can make as much money as humanly possible, you're not thinking about any consequences.
They don't care about the customers. They don't care about the employees.
Nothing.
They don't care about the environment.
Nothing.
They don't care about the materials.
Exactly. They only care about how they can make more money. And the thing with that, it's okay to make money in business. There's nothing wrong with that. That's beauty in that. That's just like a feedback loop in a way. But you don't do it at the cost of humanity, of the cost of people. You don't do it at the cost of your customers, of society. Like this is the problem we're dealing with today, is that we're literally dealing with the repercussions of a bunch of these giant conglomerate corporations that have been operating for the past 50 plus years, that have basically captured society's minds, their bodies, their souls, and figured out how they can extract as much money as they possibly can and keep people controlled mentally. Because if you can control their mind, then you have a bunch of people that won't complain about what's happening or even seek to see what's happening to them. But we've basically been a society that's been controlled by these corporations trying to see how much money they can make with the destruction. The reason why the world is so shit right now, the reason why the United States of America, even though it's the best place to be right now, everybody is struggling and everybody's being poisoned, it's purely the consequence of a handful of companies that have been operating for the past like 50 or so years.
So what is the harm? Like, besides the environment which we established and the exploitation of the workers, what's the actual harm for the customer when they're wearing these clothes?
Okay, so polyester and nylon, for example, number one, it's plastic. So you hear about, right now the biggest topic is microplastics. Microplastics are everywhere. They're going inside of your body. They're getting stored there, and we don't know the long-term consequences because this is a new phenomenon that has happened. In human history, we've never, ever had this happen, ever, in thousands and thousands of years of human history, okay?
People are getting hurt by these plastics.
They're getting hurt, but we don't even know the consequences yet because it's yet to come.
But we're seeing some indication, like people are saying like the sperm rates are down, reproduction is down, health diseases are up.
People are getting sick.
People are getting sick. People are getting overweight. People feel low. They feel tired.
And they're mentally, if you see people are mentally sick right now, think about it, okay? A lot of people are depressed right now. They're also getting sick. They're living, their feedback loop of their being is go to the doctor, go to the hospitals. And the problem with that is like, they're just going, they can't get to the root problem, but they can give you a patch to fix it up. People don't understand that their entire lives have been encapsulated by poison. And that's a big difference of the way that the things in your life can have an impact on your mood, on your being, on the way you feel, on the way you see things. That's the biggest non-understanding. Like polyester and nylon clothing, which is abundant, which is, again, plastics, the microplastic aspect of it.
And people are using this for athletics. They're sweating in these clothes, right?
Sweating. So this is the big thing, because a lot of people were telling me, oh, you can't get microplastics into your body through polyester and nylon fibers. It can't break your skin barrier. Check this out. One, they get they're nano particles,
Yeah.
Nanoplastics from those fibers, because they can get so microscopic. They can go into your, go through your skin, just like an oil or an ointment can. On top, okay, say that is not even the fact. You want to know how they can get into your, get through your skin? When you sweat and you're working out and you're active, your pores open up.
Wow.
They slip right through your pores. You can, this is 100% fact. You can look this up. They go straight through your pores.
The plastic's going in your blood.
Going straight through your skin into your blood, through your pores, especially when you exercise and work out. And which is the majority of the time people wear these materials too, which is so mind-blowing.
It's like a paradox, because they're working out to feel more healthy, to get more healthy, and this shit's happening.
Yeah, exactly. And okay, so there's that. There's a microplastic aspect of it. Okay. Number two is that polyester and nylon are endocrine disruptors, which means they mess with your hormones, especially women. They are messing with your... This is the crazier part. Women are living and existing in their yoga athletic outfits these days. They're not just working out in them. They're just living in them.
Yeah.
And don't even forget their underwear and whatever. Those are also polyester.
Yeah.
And those are like this. There's a big possibility that those could be messing with women's moods and the way that they're reacting to things inside, the way they see things. That if it's messing with your hormones can almost like mess with the way you see
People
things.
don't know this.
They really
These
don't.
You fucking clothing companies.
You sick bastards.
What the fuck? Someone's going to call you out. It's time.
Yeah.
Your time is coming to an end.
It's coming. Look, check this out. Okay. Also, there's a big thing coming out that they're possibly endocrine. I mean, they're possibly causing infertility in women and lower sperm count in men on top. So infertility in women, lower sperm count in men, polyester. And they have these forever chemicals. So you have to chemically process these fabrics to turn them into turn plastic into fabric. Those chemicals are also doing a whole array of things that we don't even know about. This is obviously getting maybe into conspiracy a bit, but these days conspiracy seems to be more factual than actual reality. That these fabrics, I have a funny conspiracy that these fabrics that you're coating upon your body are basically controlling your mind. Like they're making you sick, and they're making you think in a way that you wouldn't normally think, which is like causing your life to get into a little swirl.
All right. Well, what can you do then? What can you do if you want to feel better? You don't want to be part of this anymore. What are the options?
Man, you really don't have that many. Well, okay, you go and
There's gotta be.
Well, you go and spend thousands and thousands of dollars on one of these really high-end luxury fashion brands that are probably owned by LVMH or Kering Group. But obviously, that's not going to happen. What you do is...
So you're going to fix the problem, right?
Well, I have to. I mean,
yeah.
I have to fix the problem because... one, nobody's really paying. Of course, there's like little companies here and there that are like really actively trying to fix the problem and to actually be different about this. So I applaud them and I appreciate that people are actually. There are some people, but it's not enough by far.
And it costs a little bit more, right?
Because of course, it costs more.
It costs more.
It costs more because the materials cost more. And it costs more. I mean, even the companies that are doing using good materials, wool, linen, cotton, pure wool, linen, cotton. Cotton's a little sketchy because of the amount of herbicides and pesticides they have to use to grow cotton, and the amount of chemicals they have to use to process the cotton into fabric. That's another. We'll get there later, but yeah, I mean, the problem too is these companies, they're producing, like even the good ones using the right materials, their designs are not that fantastic. So it's like it creates a barrier. People want to look good, like they want the clothes to look amazing. Design comes first. Like you have to look amazing. You can't just have great material and a horrible design.
Yeah.
Like then what's the point? But the problem too with these companies, man, is that they're producing their clothes in foreign factories by potentially slaves. Like
Right.
there's like if you got to do the whole thing. Like we can't be the only ones producing clothes start to finish here in our own facilities in America, in Los Angeles. We can't be the only ones doing that, and only
Yeah.
ones that are willing to not make any compromise whatsoever and never use a factory. Even, I told somebody about this. I talked to somebody briefly from the Wall Street Journal about this, and I don't think this will ever get anywhere, but I mentioned that the problem too is that even the factories that produce clothing, let's say in Los Angeles or in America, people don't know that, especially in Los Angeles, this is a real problem. They're using illegal immigrants for labor. And the thing when they do that is they don't have to pay them the fair wages. They're actually paying, I heard
They're
my
getting
brother,
exploited. Yeah.
they're getting exploited significantly. My brother found out there's a group that tries to help, and it's mostly women that are getting exploited for their labor. Okay, and so my brother he dug into this because we were trying to hire some people to sew for us, and there's this group that tries to help these women. Some of them are getting paid the $3 an hour,
Here?
$5 an hour in Los Angeles in these factories to producing
You
these
fucking
clothes.
clothing companies. We're on to you.
They're so.
The truth is coming out. You can't hide it anymore.
So they want to say, oh, we're not made in China, we're made in America, we're made in Los Angeles. Worse conditions, but it's all just a front.
Yeah.
So anyway, if they're paying these people these
$3 an
poor
hour.
women that are illegal, and the fact that they're illegal allows them to exploit them because they obviously can't tell on them.
Right. They feel stuck probably.
They're scared. They're also scared. These people are probably threatening them. They're saying, hey, if you say anything, we're going to get you deported. And so they're getting paid nothing. And two, they're probably being abused. Like they're probably being overworked, telling them to meet their quotas. And
it's bad energy.
And there's a possibility that, let's say they fuck something up. They might say, okay, you fucked up. We're not going to pay you for a whole week, but you still have to work for us. That's your wonderful American factories in Los Angeles.
But people just want to save a few bucks so they don't think about where their clothes come from.
Exactly.
Funny. Like if people want to eat organic,
yeah,
they won't just go like eat anything like off the street.
Yeah.
But they'll wear anything that's gonna look all right without thinking about where it comes from.
No thought whatsoever about where it comes from. You know what's crazy too, is that's such a look. Of course, at the core base level with clothing and fashion, it has to look beautiful. Like the clothes have to look beautiful because we need beautiful aesthetics in society, and people need to look beautiful. So that is just the base start point of fashion. Now, everything else is just as important too.
Right.
Like I always say, you can't have a Ferrari without the Ferrari engine. Like imagine you had a Ferrari, it looked beautiful. It was the Ferrari, but then it had a Toyota engine in it. It's no longer the Ferrari.
Yeah.
Just because it looks like a Ferrari doesn't and it doesn't drive like a Ferrari, that's insane. But
one thing I've noticed is that even clothes that look good, like I'll go to a regular one of these brands.
Yeah.
The clothes look good when I try it on, but then like a week or two later, for some reason they just kind of fall apart. Like why is that?
I mean, my analysis of that happening is one, they're using the worst materials.
Yeah.
Two, also I found this out the other day, that a lot of these big yoga athletic companies, I won't say the names, they put some chemical coating on, because polyester and nylon is plastic. So how you have to make plastic look like a natural fabric.
Yeah.
And how do they do that? They coat the fabrics and brush the fabrics with these chemicals that make them more plushy looking, make them look a little nicer. So when they, so you buy it, wow, and so you see, oh look, it looks so nice. You wear it once, you wash it, and then it becomes a completely different outfit because
that guy's washed off?
yeah, the chemicals get washed off. Yeah, that made it look like that. So also remember too, when you're buying these clothes, that is literally produced. How fast can it be produced, and how cheap? So as long as it looks together when you buy it, that's all that matters. You already bought it. Like that's the end of it. That's their goal. Buy it and don't ever think twice about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's probably why that's the case.
And what are you doing that's different then, besides the fabric?
Yeah, I mean, again, like, and I'm still improving every day. So don't hold me, don't pin me down and say they're not the best yet. But I'm trying to design the future of fashion. I'm trying to make the most beautiful clothing possible. I want people to wear my clothes and feel like they are floating. Like I want them to feel like they've been enlightened when they put on my clothes. Like they feel like they can conquer the world. They feel like they can. A girl can find her Prince Charming, and a guy can go talk confidently to women and feel like he belongs. You know.
It does feel like that because
Yeah.
you know it's good material. You know it's been made in a proper way. You know
Yeah.
that the energy behind it is real.
Exactly.
And it does feel that way. Like
it's pure. Exactly. There's very rare clothes that you get created in this manner. Like also, it's like I want women that wear these clothes. I want them to feel beautiful. I want them to feel confident. I want women to wear these outfits, and I want them to feel like they run the world. Like I want them to feel like nobody can touch them. I want them to feel like no man can tell them what to do. Right. I want them to feel like they can walk up into it. I want women wearing my clothes to I want them to walk through a restaurant or walk through a place and every guy's staring at them, and the only thought going through those guys has, damn, I can never get that girl. She's way too, I want them to be intimidated I want them to be scared to go talk to that girl because she looks so amazing and so sharp and so on point. I love that. I love when women are just strong and intimidating, but they're so sweet. But you actually go talk to them, they're so sweet and they're so beautiful and they're so kind and charming. Yeah. But at the look, you're like, oh my God, she's just untouchable. That's what I want when women wear my clothes. But yeah, man, the way we produce the clothes is like I said, we'll never use a factory. We'll only use our own facilities. We'll only use our own people to create the clothes. We'll only use the best materials. And soon, we will produce the materials, the fabrics from scratch, from start to finish. That's a plan very soon that we'll do. So
what do you want to tell these people who are doing yoga, who are looking for yoga outfits? What do you want to tell them? Give them some tips.
As far as, what do you mean?
As far as picking out clothes and clothing, what do you want to tell these people doing yoga? What clothes should they wear? What should they look for?
I think they should only be wearing my designs. Well, avoid the polyester nylon, yeah, which is unavoidable. So yeah, maybe if you're too controlled, if it's too difficult, it's going to be difficult. This is the problem, man, is that if you've been wearing something for so long now, if everybody's wearing it, if right, these are the trendy
people need to wake up.
Yeah,
you gotta wake them up.
It's so hard.
Why won't you wake up?
Else. Yeah, you gotta wake up. They're after you. They've controlled your mind.
Literally.
They're producing outfits that costs nothing to make, less than $1. We did the calculations, and they're selling it to you for hundreds of dollars, and it's made of plastic, and it's harmful for your body. I was saying this the other day that
how rich are these people, by the way? How I want to know how big this thing goes. How deep does this go? How rich are they?
I mean, they're some of the richest people in the world. I mean, I won't even go deeper, but they're some of the richest people in the world that own these fashion companies, that own these yoga athletic companies.
So they're literally becoming the richest people in the world off the backs of all this exploitation.
Yep. Pure exploitation of the customers and of the people producing the clothing and of the environment too. We're going to get to that in a bit.
And their own souls.
Exactly. That's the definition of sell your soul for $1.
Yeah.
When they say money is the root of all evil, it doesn't mean that money's bad, because money is great. It can do great things. It means that it can turn people that have some slight tendency, when they start seeing money, people can't control themselves when they start making money. There's a lot of people that will, it consumes them. It's like the money starts whispering. The money is the devil. It's like, but it's also it's both sides. The money's the light and the dark. But the dark can overconsume people's minds when they start to see money. So these companies, you got to think about it. Like, they started small doing this little thing, and they've probably heard about what they're doing. They know what they're doing. But when that money's coming in that abundance, trust me, I would say 99% of people could not stop themselves from letting that money flow into their pockets, because you could buy yachts, you could buy mansions, you can buy every car you ever imagined. You can live like a modern day king.
It's ironic because this is yoga we're talking about, and people, these are some very greedy people, and people are trusting these greedy people with their yoga outfits, where you would think the whole point is to become more spiritually enlightened.
Right? You think that the outfit meant to do a spiritual activity like yoga, which means commune with God, which is the preparation for meditation, which is to connect you to your divine and to yourself. The outfits would cater to that, but it's the exact opposite that it's doing.
But people are waking up.
Slowly but surely. I mean, we're waking people up.
The feedback we've seen, right? People are waking up.
They're shocked. They don't even. It's hard for them to understand. And but they're waking up. We're probably some of the only people waking people up. See, if I won't try to. Of course, people have been saying this. Okay, of course, I designed a yoga athletic outfit, and we're going to design a whole lineup, the best that you can get. Of course, we designed one, and we're talking about the problem. The reason we designed the outfit was because there's a problem.
Right.
Like, why wouldn't we create a solution to a problem? If the solution already existed, there would be no purpose for us to create this outfit. But I had to spread the word, and then of course I've created the best alternative that you can find. Of course, we're gonna talk about the effects. Even if I didn't design this outfit, I would still be talking about this. And I've been talking about this for a long time. It's like, this has actually been a big thing. It just made sense because I literally didn't know that the yoga athletic outfits were, one, made of plastic. I barely knew so much about and I barely knew the harmful effects of polyester and nylon, especially on women.
Right.
The endocrine disrupting, the infertility, the chemicals, the microplastic issue.
Stop wearing that shit.
Stop wearing it. And the environmental impact. The effect on the environment is so horrendous that we'll get into that in a second. There's some companies that are now fully aware that polyester and nylon, aka plastic, aka oil, are like horrible materials. Like, forget that it's a horrible material, again, for your body, also for the environment, because you have to obviously pump oil. Okay. And it's plastic, so it'll never degrade. You're stuck with the fabric after, or the clothes
You're
after.
fucked forever.
Yeah, forever. So there's these materials. They call them tensol, lyocell, modal, rayon.
They just sound sketchy, bro.
Yeah, right. So these are
it's like
all
some evil fucking engineer came up with that.
That's exactly what it is. So
tensol,
modal, lyocell, which are all trademark names, by the way.
Sounds like a battery.
You would know about that, yeah. So these materials, again, tensol, lyocell, modal, rayon. They try to pitch these as natural or alternative fabrics and materials for yoga athletic outfits and other clothes. These materials...
Rayon?
Yeah, rayon. Guess what these are? So these are all cellulose-based, or aka wood pulp. So they take wood pulp, like shards of wood from probably the like house building, and like when they build things, all these like wood chips, and they call it wood pulp, and they horrendously chemically process the wood pulp.
So how do you turn wood into fabric?
That's the main. Well, who the hell thought, hey, let's take wood pulp and turn it into fabric?
So how does that look like though? Like what?
So they have to like, because obviously you can't turn fucking wood pulp into fabric. Like that's not even a thing.
What kind of evil fucking scheme do they come up with?
It's just the same way that they figured out how to turn plastic into fabric. They just dump a bunch of chemicals into the wood pulp, and eventually, after a large amount of processing, they are able to turn the wood pulp into fibers to spin into fabric.
So that
there's honestly, I would rate that those materials are just as garbage.
That's what I was gonna ask. Is that worse than the polyester?
I wouldn't say it's worse, but it's just as bad. If you have to chemically process, insanely chemically process, not just a little chemical, a lot of chemicals to turn something into a material, it's no longer that material. It's no longer wood pulp. It's just a plush of chemicals. And those chemicals are not going away. Like those are now encoded into the material.
And into your skin when you wear it.
Into your skin. And the environment. If you're using all those chemicals to turn wood pulp into fabric, where do you think those chemicals are going after they're done? They're done turning it into fabric. You think they're being filtered out or whatever?
They're dumping in the water.
They're going straight into the river.
Yeah.
They're probably if they're made in a foreign factory, they're going into the rivers. They're going into the waterways. People's drinking water. They're going into. They're just going everywhere. And again, those chemicals are still going to be on the fabrics once you wear them. And when you wash them too, they're going to get washed into the water even more.
So how common are these new rayon
they're using
and
them. See, the big thing with these companies love to do this. They love to talk about how innovative, how we're trying to help the environment. We're trying to be sustainable. So
but they're
obviously,
fake.
They need a way to trick you into buying their products because people are becoming aware, I don't want to buy polyester and nylon.
Right.
So they're like, we got to figure out a new way to trick them. And they want to act like they're being environmentally conscious. So let's, we still have to chemically create a fabric because we're not going to use natural fibers and it has to be cheap. So they somehow came up with this, and they can call it natural, they can call it environmentally friendly because technically it's wood pulp. They don't have to tell you all the other things happening to turn that wood pulp into fabric. So they can call it all natural. They can call it environmentally friendly, which is all bullshit. But and the funny, actually, that brings me to something that I find quite funny is these companies, they call it greenwashing. I love to, it's like...
Greenwashing?
Yeah. So all these big corporate companies, even smaller ones, they love to talk about sustainability. They love to talk about, the environment. They love to talk about this and that. Fashion is the third largest polluter and destroyer of the environment on the planet. Fashion. And so these guys, they love to try to trick you into believing they're being. What is when you hear sustainability? Run.
What does that mean?
It means run. It means don't buy from that company. If you hear a company talking about being sustainable.
So you said it. What are the materials? Tensile.
There's these are the polyester alternatives: tensile, lyocell, rayon, viscose. What was the other one?
If you see these, just run.
Yeah, these are wood pulp. Chemically processed wood pulp.
Yeah.
These companies, if you hear these companies talking about sustainability or how environmentally friendly they are, that's your sign to say, hey, something sketchy's going on here. Because go look at their track record. There's nothing sustainable about what they're doing. There's nothing good about what they're doing. They are the reason that fashion is
It's almost worse, greenwashing, because they're acting like they're helping out.
Yeah.
They're acting like they care.
Yeah.
And these are the people who care the least.
Yeah. I guess a good way to call it is backstabbing. So they're stabbing you in the back while smiling in your face, saying, "Oh, we care for you.
And people are trying to do this in a way where they're trying to do yoga.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be spiritual. It's supposed to be like connecting you to the environment.
Mm-hmm.
And it's doing the opposite. They're polluting the water. They're hurting the people.
It's
all for greed, right?
Yep, all for greed. And they don't want to. Being sustainable should not be a term that a company has to use to sell you their products. They're doing that to try to sell you their products. You shouldn't have to tell somebody how sustainable you are, how environmentally friendly you are. The only reason you're doing these things is because you know that people are waking up and you're trying to trick them to buying your horrible products. And people know.
All right, well, this is wool.
Yeah.
This is wool.
Yeah.
Is wool sustainable? Like, is that process better?
So, if you're buying wool from China, from these foreign, they probably have sheep in a slave factory. These sheep are not the sheep. If that's where it's coming from, it's maybe not. But in the pure and traditional way, wool is sheep's. These beautiful farms, usually family farms. They're roaming around all day eating grass. Sheep are actually pretty good for the environment. Like they're really good at creating fertile soil. Yeah, so they're actually really helpful for the environment, and they keep the ecosystem at bay. And so in that sense, I would say it's sustainable. And wool is obviously, since it's a natural material, it's purely biodegradable. It can go right back into the environment. You can keep turning wool into more and more things. And
so it's good. It is sustainable.
Yeah, of course. But I don't even like to say that because who gives a shit? Like, it's just this is the thing.
Does wool have any other benefits?
Yeah, I mean, again, stay away from Chinese and these factory farmed wools. But, I mean, wool, the fact that it's been used for thousands of years is just a great thing. And wool is like antibacterial because you have to think about it. The wool is the hair that's protecting the sheep in the environment. So those same things, translate into the fabric that you wear. So it's naturally antibacterial. It's really great at getting rid of moisture. And it just feels really nice. Like, forget everything. It just feels really nice. I can't
breathable,
explain
right?
It. Yeah. I mean, that depends on the weave because you can have a thick wool for the winter, like a winter coat, or you can have like the yoga outfits we design, which is like stretchy weave and very airy. So just how you weave the wool together and the fineness of the wool too. Like for example, the suit outfits we've been designing, they're made of wool fabrics from Savile Row in London, and they rate the fineness of the hairs like Super 120, Super 130, Super 140, Super 150s, all the way I think up to Super 280s, and that's just the fineness of the hair. So it's just softer, it's nicer. So it's all just about the hair and the way they weave it. But it's just a really nice material, and this is like going to conspiracy land, back to how it feels when you wear certain materials.
Yeah.
I really feel like what you wear and the materials you wear and the design that you wear that's made out of those materials, it really can change the way that you feel and the way that you go about yourself in society. Like when we wear these clothes, when I wear these clothes, and when people that we know or have bought clothes and we talk to wear these clothes, it's like you just feel like a different person. And it's like, how does that make sense? Like, how do your clothes make you feel like a different person? Like, of course, the design, so the way that they look, but the material too. It's like, I really think, so there's two things. One, I feel like it gives you presence. Like when you wear the right clothes, it gives you presence in society. It's like, I use this example a lot. It's like when somebody wears a suit and they're going about their day, people treat them different. People act different towards them. People look at this person as if they're like official. Like, and that person feels that too. They put on the suit and they feel like they're running the world. Like, so that's what clothes can make. Somebody that's wearing military clothes, a police officer. Like, everybody has their outfits and they put the outfit on and they become whatever their outfit is. That's what they become. So
They step into that role.
Yeah, they exactly. So it's
Yeah.
like if your clothes are a certain way, a certain design, you become that person that your clothes are, and you feel it, and other people feel it. And then this is where that's just the way it looks. Now, put the material on top of it. I really believe this, that our bodies are like, and our brains and our nervous system, they're like antennas. They're electrical wires. They're receiving signals and putting out signals all day and night long. It's like when you cover an antenna or a radio antenna with something, and it can mess up the receiving signal.
Yeah.
I feel like our bodies are that, and when you put on a certain material, it either makes you receive signals in the environment and through people better or worse. So that's where the material comes in, like at the baseline. So that's why I feel like it makes you feel better. I didn't really know so much about this. I'm still reading about it, but linen, for example, apparently hospitals used to use linen as their bed sheets and stuff for the sick patients. And apparently it's because they thought that linen has healing properties as a material.
Right. And now they use like plastic or something.
Yeah, and some people are getting more sick. I swear, people are telling me, they're like, oh, okay, because I've been talking about the polyester and nylon being plastic and how harmful it is for women's bodies and men's bodies. And people are like, oh, so why isn't everybody sick, or why isn't it being harmful?
They are.
Yeah. People are sick. People are more sick.
Look at the data.
Yeah, people are more sick than they've ever been in society.
Yeah.
And on top of that, the health effects take some time to kick in. It's like I was saying, it's like cigarettes. Like people who smoke cigarettes for 10, 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
Then, boom, they get hit with all the
And back in the day, everyone thought cigarettes were fine. Yeah. Everybody was smoking cigarettes.
They were smoking cigarettes, and then look what happened to them.
Yeah.
Like
what, 40 years later, 50 years later.
Yeah, exactly.
It caught up.
Yep.
So you think clothes are like the cigarettes of our time?
I really think so. It's something's making, of course, there's all these other poisons in society.
Right.
But I really think that the clothes are making people sick. I think it's making them mentally sick, and I think it's making them physically sick. And I really believe that the way your mental state is the way that your body. So if your mental is good, that your body is good too. So I think people are getting sick from their clothes. Like, I know it's a really bold and crazy statement to say, but I don't know. I really feel like that. I think.
Well, yeah, you look at how many overweight people there are, for example, in America. I think it's like almost half the people are overweight or obese.
40% or something.
Yeah, something like that. And it keeps going up.
Insane.
And especially with kids, too. Kids are like super overweight now.
Yep.
And not feeling good, not playing sports as much.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at what they're wearing. Everybody's wearing these materials you're talking about.
Yeah. I wonder, obviously it's the food. Of course it's the food causing them to be. But what if but it goes hand in hand. All right, wear crappy clothes, eat bad food, and just your mind is so fucked up. Like, you can't even bro, you know what's crazy is like say somebody that's obese and getting obese, and it's such a large amount of people. A lot of people are either they're in denial or they don't even understand what's happening to them. Like, they actually don't. And the thing is,
and a lot of times it's not their fault. It's like they're wearing these clothes. They don't know they're getting all these plastics in their blood.
Yeah.
They don't know they're eating this food that's poisonous to their bodies.
It's destroying them.
And on the back of us all, there's these corporations that are just getting rich.
Rich out of control, man.
So, like, it's our job to wake people up to what's happening.
Yeah.
And let people see, like, you can make a change. It can start small.
Yep.
But, you know, there's solutions out there.
Yep. This is like, thank God for the internet. It's like that now all the information is available and people are like finding it and spreading it too. I think the big thing is spreading the information, because most people aren't going to go look for the information. But
yeah,
I think that's where I feel like some duty. It's like, if you find these things out, it's your duty to go and tell people. You don't have to go on the internet and start, trying to become some, oh, look at me, I'm some guru of this or that. But I'm saying everybody people that you touch personally, like, I feel like it's people's responsibility to spread the word. And of course, if people don't listen, that's up to them. But
some people probably get defensive. Some people don't want their illusion to be shattered.
Exactly.
And does that happen where you bring this up and people get mad?
Of course. Actually, I shouldn't even talk about this, so I'm going to try to talk about this in the most morphed way possible. But not that long ago, we were meeting with somebody, and there was somebody in that meeting. Again, I'm omitting a lot of information, but there's somebody in that meeting that was like almost insulted.
Right.
Because her whole fitness journey had been in these polyester and nylon yoga athletic outfits that from these big brands.
Yeah.
And when I was expressing this to her and all everything about it, she was like, she actually got a bit angry, like,
right.
and felt like I was insulting her.
Because she wasn't ready.
Because, bro, imagine somebody tell you, yo, what you've been doing for the past 10 years is making you sick.
Right.
Bro, that's the last thing you want to hear on the planet. Like, that actually, you're going to react like, no, it's not. Like, you get away from me, you liar. Like, it's not. I've been doing this for the past 10 years, and the harmful effects could be around the corner. Bro, nobody wants to hear that. Like, nobody wants to hear
And it was the same with cigarettes back in the day.
Yeah.
People will get mad, they'd get defensive.
Yeah.
Now, across the board, everyone knows they're bad for you.
They're horrible. Like, and it's like, it's also like, the funny thing with cigarettes, like you have tobacco, just pure tobacco, and then you have the cigarettes, which is like adding 2,000 different chemicals and
on
things.
Top,
So it's just a double whammy. Corporations have this, like we call it double speak, where they're trying to convince, as people are waking up, they're going to try harder and harder to convince you that they are not the problem, they didn't cause the problem, and they're here to fix the problem. Any giant corporation doing that,
that's greenwashing, right?
It's greenwashing. I call it double speak.
It's being fake.
Yeah, it's whatever 1984 was talking about.
1984.
That's 1984 vibes. That's what
dishonest vibes.
Yeah, it's the devil putting on a holy man's outfit and trying to tell you he's not the devil. It's so it's still the devil. But it's like we can't. This is the thing too, man. Is like we need this next generation, our generation. Yeah. We have to step up. We have to create the new solutions. We have to create the new companies. We have to create the new things and the new society for us to live in. Because all these past people, they call them the boomers and whoever else.
It's not working, right?
They literally destroyed society for us, and we're over here having to clean up their mess. Yeah. And they're still trying to convince us that they did it, and they're still trying to keep it going the same way.
We can see the mess.
Yeah, and so we have to fight back by, like, these companies cannot exist any longer. Like, this is, I really mean this. It's like,
stop giving them your money.
Stop giving them your money, and they will go away.
Yeah.
They will go away. That's it. Like,
just ignore them.
Ignore them and stop buying their products. Like, find out who they are and stop buying their products, and they will go away. Because as long as people keep giving them their money, they will keep growing and finding more ways to control your mind.
And it is growing, sadly. Like, yoga is a multi-billion-dollar industry right now.
Billion.
And they don't give a shit about yoga.
They do not give a shit. Yoga is a great front to sell their products.
That's just a buzzword for them.
Exactly. So we cannot continue in the future. We have to create the new new things that
the old way is not working.
It's not working, and we don't want it. This is the thing, bro. We don't want these companies and these people to be running the future. Like, get your company out of here. Don't sit here and try to act like you've changed and you're changing the future and you're changing the ways. No, like, you already destroyed. You already showed who you are. We don't want you to come here and tell us that you changed. We don't want you to come here and act like you're different now, and that you didn't just spend the past 20, 30, 40 years destroying society, destroying us, and lining your pocket. Now that you're the richest people on the planet, richest companies on the planet, you want to come and tell us, hey, oh no, we don't mean this. We're trying to be, we're all about diversity. We're all about sustainability. We're all about the environment. No, fuck you. Like, we don't want you anymore. Like, actually dissolve your company and let this next generation of people that actually care set the new companies up, set the new things up, and let's do this the right way, the way it was supposed to be done from the beginning. Like, let's actually, that's the only way. People don't understand. Get your money out of these companies. The more money you give them, the more they're thriving. And the more money they have, the easier they can, you know how they control your mind? Through marketing. Like, their multi-billion-dollar marketing budgets are controlling your mind. Like, they're so good. You don't even understand how good they are. They're using, especially with fashion, it's like they use all these people on social media. They send them clothes. They pay them off to go talk about, only wear their products, only talk about their stuff. All you see is these products on social media, people wearing it. Those people are bought and sold. They didn't choose to wear those clothes. It's fake. They didn't choose to wear those clothes. They didn't choose to talk about it. They're trying to sell you something. They're being paid off. Like, it's not real. Like, that's not real fashion. They don't know anything about fashion. They don't care about fashion. They don't care about you. They're being bought and sold. They care about the money.
It's basically a web of lies.
All the way through. A whole web of lies.
Yeah.
Start to finish. Like, fuck you. Like, that's what it's about.
But now people are waking up, right? The response you've been getting.
Yeah.
The reaction you've been getting. People are like, whoa.
Yeah.
I didn't even know these guys are like so bad.
Literally, they had no idea.
It's like Dr. Evil.
Literally but Dr. Evil in a holy man's outfit. Like, they're so good at disguising themselves, man. That's like, it's almost like you're in a dark room, or how should I say it? It's like, you have a whole, actually, no, this is a good one. You're in a like some spiritual festival, and you have everybody there is wearing, like I said, like they're looking like an Indian guru, like some yogi with the long beard and only one guy is real, and all the rest of them are just phonies.
Yeah.
How on earth will you be able to spot when they're all acting like they're the real thing? You have to spot. So I feel like our job is to find out who the phony ones are and just, put them out. And it's like 99% anyway. But
yeah. So if they're using polyester, they're phony. If they're using Tencel or some of these rayon,
wood pulp fabric,
they're phony. Nylon.
If they're paying off the entire social media, these influencers, these famous people.
Like, it's made in a sweatshop.
It's made in a foreign factory. Yeah. It's also like, man, it's so easy to find out about what they're up to. That's the crazy part. Like, a quick internet search, you find out everything about a company, because it's hard to hide these things, but it's easy to brush it away. Like, but it's all there. It's all there. Well, and
not for long.
Yeah, we're coming after the polyester pirates. We're coming after you. We're in this position that these like giant companies and these people, the boomers or whatever, basically for their own enjoyment and luxury, destroyed this generation that we are in, and we're, like I said, cleaning up the mess, and that means like they're basically they got housing for nothing, they got food for nothing, they got everything. They've lived so good off nothing, and then now they're hoarding onto that goodness, and this next generation has to suffer through their greed because they don't want to let go of that. And so I want to say, like, how do we, like, what's the fashion aside, like everything else in society, like where are we going? Like, what's the future looking like? Where we have to actually like shift this, like because I know you've thought about that a lot too.
Yeah, well, the future's in our hands, first of all, because we're the next generation that's going to be stepping in. And if you look at the people in the new generation, we care more about this stuff.
Yeah.
It's not just about making money. And if it is, then don't be around those people.
Yeah.
It should be about how you feel. It should be about making other people feel good, about spreading wisdom, spreading love, positivity.
Yeah.
And I think that because we got screwed a little bit, now we have to step up and make sure the next generation doesn't get it as bad as we did.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I mean, and that next generation that we're going to be living in for the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Like, I agree. What's like, see, I think, like, we talk about this a lot. It's like, just the current system of society, the way it's like made, where it's like, for example, housing, food, but the most basic necessities of life. I always say, I literally, and I mean this, I always say, the basic necessities of life should be completely taken care of. And by that I mean they should be so cheap, they should, that it's not even a thought. Like, you can take that thought away. With the abundance of society, housing should not be something anybody thinks about. And food should be nothing that anybody thinks about. Everything else, I would say, is somewhat a luxury. But food and housing should not be something that people are struggling with. That it should not be something that people are like literally slaving away their lives just to afford the place they live and just to eat.
Yeah.
Like, so what life is there? What the hell is the point of life? Like, if
people are a little bit brainwashed by these companies. Again, they'll go spend like $13 for a Big Mac meal.
Yeah.
And they don't realize there's chemicals in there that are conditioning your brain to want this, even though it's completely bad for you.
Yeah.
And like, people just we need to educate people better on what to eat, how to grow food.
Yeah.
I want to get into growing food. I think that's like another thing, because then you can control how it's made.
Yeah.
What you're doing with the fabrics.
Yeah.
And by fixing that, I think maybe even starting some new cities for housing.
Exactly.
You know, the LA where we live.
Yeah.
How much is an apartment? It's like thousands of dollars a month.
It's insane, and for a little, and it's shitty.
Yeah, for
like
a shitty apartment.
Shitty, yeah.
But if you go step outside 100 miles, you can find a lot of land. So it's like just seeing those opportunities, which still exist, believe it or not, even though they want to blind you.
Yep.
And basically starting over.
I agree. We kind of have to. We can't, like, the existing cities, they already ruined them. Like, the existing structures, they already ruined them. Like, like, and it's so, and the way that the laws are, and they're there so that nobody changes anything. So it's like you kind of are forced to just start from scratch, because it's like LA, for example. You can't just start knocking down the entire city and try to rebuild it. Like, the amount of laws and things, you wouldn't even be able to. Even if you had a lot of power, you wouldn't be able to.
Just to build a house, you have to go through so much paperwork, so much red tape, that by the time you even get started on the construction, you're in thousands and hundreds of thousands.
Not only that, the opposition of, man, people don't talk about this. They call them the NIMBYs. And it's the funniest people, they call them the NIMBYs, not in my neighborhood type people.
Yeah.
So it's always people in like the wealthier areas, and they do not like when people build housing in their neighborhoods, because it brings their home values down.
Goes back to greed.
And so, like, it's so difficult to build because you have all this opposition too by these greedy, wealthier people that don't want more housing. And these are the same people talking about, oh, all progressive and all, oh, we need to help society, and oh, we love people and this and that. But then when it comes to actually helping people, they're like, no, just not
here.
Yeah,
not here.
Not next to me. Yeah. You go all the way over there, where nobody wants to be. But yeah, so I feel like we have to, I agree too, is that we got to start it from scratch, and we have to create the next society. And there's plenty of land to do it.
Yeah.
There's plenty of land. That's what they've tricked you too, is that, man, like California, for example, California's the most expensive state on the planet. Then you go, look, California has so much untouched land.
Right.
That's like also just barren, so you're not really ruining the environment. So I think that this is something that needs to be done in the future, and hopefully we could be at the forefront of it too.
Hopefully, we will be.
Yeah. So, but yeah.
All right, broski.
All right, cool.